recollecting. Okay, so today we will be discussing that interview questions point of view, and also resumes I will show, and then we will start with SQL concepts. Okay, so please go through that video without missing Jira tool by today or tomorrow. In the next class we will discuss on that tool if you have any questions. Okay, please go through that video without missing. Okay, let me share my screen. Did you see interview questions? Did you get time to answer any questions? No? Yes?
Few of them, sir.
Okay.
Not all.
Okay, fine. Naina, did you get chance to go through that Jira tool video?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you understand where to create test cases, how to create, execute, logging defects?
Yeah, I saw the video, sir.
Yeah, please go
Not
through
full, yeah.
one more
Okay,
time, because my Jira tool license got expired. So please go through again and let me know if you have any questions. We will have a separate session to just clarify the questions on that. But mandatory thing is you just please go through that video, all of you. Did you get Kedareshwari?
సారీ నేను అటెండ్ అవ్వలేదు క్లాస్, సారీ సార్. సో నేను ఒకసారి రివైండ్ చేసుకొని డౌట్స్.
From my Google Drive I shared. Did you get it? Yeah, allow అవుతున్నారని చెప్పారు ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ నుంచి. So I've shared already to your mail. Okay, please just check and go through that. You might have received a mail from my Google Drive. Okay.
Okay.
So please go through that. It will be
okay
helpful. That is where in the tool where you are going to create your test cases, how the sprint boards are maintained, how you are going to execute your test cases by creating different test cycles, passing, failing, logging defects, all the things will be done in that tool. That is what explained in that recorded session. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, coming to these questions quickly. Principles of testing. Anyone? What are the principles we have? It will be a quick recap. 7 principles are there. Clear? Testing shows the presence of defects. Early testing, defects clustering, exhaustive testing is impossible. Testing pesticide paradox. Testing is context dependent, and absence of defects fallacy. Errors are defects fallacy. You need to remember every principle. What is it is explaining. So please focus on that. That is a mandatory thing for every tester to remember and follow it strictly. Okay. What is difference between test case and use case? Use case we discussed recently only. In test case also. What is difference between these two?
Use case means pictorial picture representation on how to use the applications.
Okay. Test case is a written format. Written statements on how to use the application again. What are the actions you can perform in the application? Clear? That is the difference. It's a written format, written statements, that is pictorial representation. That is the difference between test case and use case. Test cases are written for testers purpose. Use cases are written for the end users sake. Okay, for the sake of end users. Okay, end users will be using the application based on these use cases. That is also another thing. What is difference between black box, white box, gray box? You all know. We have discussed this. This black box is called mainly specification based testing, where programming knowledge, internal structure knowledge is not required. But white box testing is called as structure based testing, where person need to have complete programming knowledge, complete idea on the internal structure of the application. Gray box, it's combination of both, minimum programming knowledge and minimum idea about internal structure of the application. That's the difference between these three. But what we need to importantly remember, what is the other name of black box and white box? Like that also they may ask. We should not get confused. It is nothing but difference between black box and white box testing. Clear? What is unit testing and component testing? Tell me. What is unit? What is your component, first of all?
A unit is a small, tiny part of the application, and
Okay.
testing of that tiny part is called unit testing.
Okay.
And whereas a component is the combination of two or more units, or that's a component or a module, and its testing is called component testing.
Yeah. The tiny units are related units.
Yeah.
Okay, related units are merged or integrated together to build one module. Okay. And again, one more thing is unit testing is mostly done by developers. Okay. Component testing, testers will be performing, because as part of integration testing, you will be doing this component because two or more units are integrated together, right? That's right. Okay, good. What is difference between retesting and regression testing? Very important question. What is this? Retesting and regression testing.
Retesting means checking whether reported bug is fixed properly or not. Sir.
Okay, okay.
Regression means after the bug is fixed, whether the changes that are not affecting the existing features.
Very good. More streamlined way of statements you need to use. Little bit, okay. Its answer is fine, but little
Okay.
bit clear statement you need to give. Okay, that
Okay.
the changes made in the code in order to fix the bug is showing any impact on the other related areas which were working, other existing areas which were working earlier or not. I need to make sure. That is the test. As a tester, my responsibility. That is what we consider as regression testing in real time. Okay, in that way, if you tell, it is going to make sense like you are experienced tester. Okay, because we are all going to put fake experience, right? Fake or whatever it is, 2-3 years or something. Then you should answer in such a way.
Okay.
What are the stubs and drivers? Did we discuss or not? First thing.
Yes,
Yes,
we discussed.
Yeah. Okay. Where we discussed.
Integration.
In the integration testing.
Yes. Very good. Tell me.
They are the dummy piece of code, or is partially developed code by the developers for the features which are dependent on the other features which are not developed yet.
Yeah. Other units, other parts of the application which are not developed yet. So to avoid such, to make the testers test the fully developed features, sorry, dependent features fully,
Yeah.
developers integrate these dummy units. So that's what stubs and drivers,
Simulators. Yeah.
which are also called as simulators.
Simulators.
Yeah, very good, very good. What is pilot testing? This where I explained. I did not write in your notes, but I explained there as part of types of functional testings.
I think pilot by name, it describes the first testing performed on the application.
When first testing,
When this system during the system testing.
Before the final deployment, sir.
No. Final deployment to where?
Pre-production.
No,
Stage
no.
environment.
Yes, it will be done. Normally, it will be done in staging environment only. Before going to production, any product. Can you please mute Sabdar? I'm getting my voice back. So whenever you planning to deploy a product to production environment, live environment, before going to that, as I mentioned in the beta testing, similar way, uh, testers, they will be doing kind of production kind of environment trial run. Okay, trial run, like pilot testing means, if you consider a new airport is constructed, before starting officially announcing the flights from this airport, they will do what? Pilot run they do, to make sure one flight will take off and land, whether this road or whatever they constructed, it is atmosphere is correct or not, and radars are receiving the signals or not. All these things they will test. That is pilot run. Why they are doing? Before starting the flights actually. But actual flight only came, right? Not dummy flight came there. Actual flight only came and landed, but it's a trial run. So that kind of trial run in the real time environment, they will test for some time. And if they are by the real time people who are going to actually will be using the application, end users only will do this pilot testing. And once this pilot testing is confirmed by those identified group of people, then the application will be officially deployed to explain, same as explained in the beta testing. Okay, and then tell this is going to happen before production, after UAT. Understand? That's about pilot testing. And alpha, beta, gamma. Gamma, you tell this gamma also this only. Okay, pilot testing. Beta, after UAT testing, some group of people in the staging environment they will be doing. But pilot testing will be mostly happening in production environment itself. Okay, production environment itself. But beta is happening in staging environment. Before officially announcing the production deployment or live environment, they do deploy it and test it in the production environment. And once it is giving happy and working fine for them, then they announce it officially, the release of production environment or release of the application in the production environment after the pilot testing. So pilot testing will be mostly happening in the production environment itself. Okay, that's what here you can other name. When they ask this question, you tell that answer. When they ask difference between this one, this happens in UAT environment, this happens in pre-production or staging environment, this happens in the production environment, you can say. Kind of pilot testing, you can say gamma testing. Okay. Next, what is confirmation testing? Where did I use this word?
Retesting only.
Yes, very good. So it is nothing but retesting some functionality again to confirm whether it is working fine or not. Mostly it is applicable in the case of bugs. Whenever you are rechecking that specific issue, whether it is working or not, you will be confirming by retesting. That is retesting is nothing but confirmation testing. Okay, what is the beta version of the application? Beta version, we discussed about it. Once the beta testing is done, before going to any pilot testing or something, that beta version of product is that version which is passed in beta testing will be released to the market, trial run purpose. Kind of again, they are doing in production environment pilot testing only, but you cannot call it as pilot they are giving officially that beta version to the market. Let the people use it and perform whatever actions they want to do, but support team will be monitoring whether this is satisfying the customer needs or not. So this is the beta version, is the version of the application which is passed with the beta testing is called as beta version. Okay, sometimes some businesses will release this beta versions only to the production environment for time being to get it tested in the real time. Okay, what is bug leakage? Did we discuss this bug leakage?
I think spillovers we discussed.
Yeah, so what is that? Tell me.
If any bug is identified in the later stages of
That is latent bug. Next question, what do you mean by latent bug? Which is supposed to be identified in the early stages, but you missed then and you identified later on, bit lately, that is considered as latent bug. What is leakage, bug leakage?
Which went in production, sir, without checking.
Not only
We
production,
missed a testing.
not only production, it can be other than QA environment, higher than QA environment, whichever defects are identified by other than testing team, that is considered as bug leakage only. Understand? So which are the bugs which are missed from testing environment and identified in the higher environments? It can be either in UAT or pre-production or in production. They are considered as bug leakage. It will be measured with the percentage, how the total number of defects, number of defects identified in the higher environments by total number of defects which are identified in QA and other environments, total into 100. It will give some percentage. That percentage should not go beyond 1% or 2%, like that. Company to companies, there will be certain criteria will be defined. If it is going beyond that, your performance will be impacted, your hikes will be impacted at the end of the year for the testing team. Clear? What is error seeding or bug seeding? Bug injecting, error injecting, error seeding.
Purposely adding bugs into the code, sir.
Yeah, in order to measure how worst application behave if when such errors occur, to test that, they purposely introduce errors inside into the application, into the code. Okay, very good. What is usability testing? What are the different issues you observed as part of usability? This is a generic experience question.
look and feel and the behavioral aspects of the application are tested in usability testing.
Very good. What are the issues you identified? If they ask, what kind of issues you will tell?
The alignment, pagination, and the
Don't focus that first. Why? Because usability, like how you are
user
able to
friendly, user friendliness.
they tell that first, and then talk about UI, alignment, colors, that and all later on. Tell user friendliness point of view now. Actually, there were some unnecessary confirmations it was asking before saving. They were asking confirmation. When I click on cancel, it is asking me confirmation. Do you want to cancel the creation? I am clicking on cancel to cancel the creation only. Then again, why to ask confirmation? So unnecessary confirmation it was showing such issues. And also the words something which are used, the icons which are used for one of the button or labels, they were not meaningful. It was not giving the actual meaning of the functionality. Such issues, or some kind of sorting issues, some kind of spelling mistakes, some kind of alignment issues, some kind of look and feel related issues. All these things are considered as usability, like that you can tell. Clear? Next, exploratory testing. What is exploratory testing?
Testing the application by navigating through different screen. And based on prior experience, testing the application.
So where we discuss this one as part of experience-based testing.
Experience-based testing.
So first you need to start. This is one of the experience-based testing where
Okay.
experienced testers will test the application by using their existing knowledge in testing similar sort of application. They navigate through different screens. They explore the application and test the features based on the existing knowledge or prior experience in testing such applications. That is exploratory testing. What is risk-based testing?
There is no sufficient time to do detailed testing, sir. That time they do risk-based testing, which are the important
functionalities. Yeah. So what you do whenever there is no sufficient time to do full testing on all the features before releasing to higher environments, testers will be mostly doing this risk-based testing by identifying some important areas which are most commonly used by the users. They test only those functionalities and do the release on time and continue testing the remaining functionality after doing the release and confirm the business with either subsequent release with when they find issues. Otherwise, just confirm them once they are completed their testing on the remaining functionalities. So that what you are going to benefit this, you are going to inform to the customer as well. These functionalities only you test it. Remaining functionalities, my testing team did not get enough time, so they are testing it. They'll confirm you in 1 or 2 days. Like that, you will inform to them. That's why they go for risk-based testing in that such situations. What is ad hoc testing? When it will be done?
ad hoc testing is random testing, sir. For that.
Yeah, random testing. When?
This is
It is a random testing performed by the testers in the application without following the proper steps. Defined procedure or defined steps will not follow and perform random actions to break the application. Okay, how application going to respond when you do such improper actions, whether it is crashing or hanging, to check the application, how it respond. The main intention is to break the application and identify new defects. That's why when you go for this one, this will not be done in a regular way like every time when you get features. So it will be mostly done once all our formal testing is done and we still have some more time to do release, and but we are not getting any additional scenarios to be covered as part of other types of testing. Then we go for this random testing. Understand? Okay. What is difference between static and dynamic?
In static, we test the application without accessing the application, and while in dynamic, we access the navigate the different screens or functionalities. That's that dynamic testing.
Yeah, so that is something first you need to tell before accessing the application, after accessing the application. So before accessing the application, to validate the functionalities directly in the application, before you reach that level, whatever testing activities you do or you involve are considered as static testing. Okay. What are those things? That is what here: walkthrough, review, inspection. Dynamic testing: once the application is features are developed, then testers will be accessing the application and navigate through different screens and test the functionalities are working according to the expectation or not. That is dynamic testing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So one more thing is we need to use one term, okay, without executing the code, with executing the code. But you are not going to execute the code as a tester. What does it mean? Without running the application, without with executing the application. Okay, that is what that means. Okay. So I have written in the definition, please go through. So walkthrough, review, inspection are static testing types. What is walkthrough? What is review? What is inspection? We have discussed. Please go through. Okay, what is very, very important question? What is difference between smoke and sanity testing? We emphasized on this for too much time in the beginning classes.
Smoke means the testing done on a new build, sir.
Okay.
Basic testing.
Basic testing on what?
New builds. The basic testing done on a new build.
On which features? On new features.
New
Basic
features. Yes, sir.
testing done on the new features deployed to as part of new build to make sure whether they are deployed and they are eligible for doing the full testing or not. It's an eligibility check on the new features before getting into deep validation of those testing, deep validation of those features. Sanity will be done, smoke will be done first, okay, and then sanity will be done. It's a build verification testing. Whenever a new build is deployed, all the features are deployed properly or not without breakage. That is, you will be doing some happy flow testing as part of the sanity testing. It's a very high level happy flow testing. Okay, it's on the existing features. This smoke is on new features. Okay, integration testing, no need to talk. Volume testing, it's a performance testing when huge amount of data is getting transferred through application, how speed it is performing. What is SDLC? Different phases of SDLC. Can you someone tell what is SDLC? And phases of SDLC?
Software development life cycle.
What are the phases?
Requirement gathering, analysis, designing,
Okay.
implementation, testing,
Deployment and maintenance.
deployment, maintenance.
Okay. What is test plan? Have you ever prepared test plan? This is a very tricky question. The second part. First part is fine. What is test plan? Have you ever prepared test plan? How will you answer? Go on, Sabdar.
Sir, after analyzing the requirements, the testing team comes up with a plan to test the application and write the test cases. So that plan is called test plan.
Yeah. So this is correction on that statement. Your starting statement is excellent. After analyzing the requirements for a specific period of time, as a testers, as a tester, our whole team will be coming up with a plan how we are going to execute our testing activities for this specific cycle. The testing activities includes test designing, test execution, test reporting, everything, test deliverables, everything we will be mentioning in this test plan document with a detailed plan. We will be preparing this every every beginning of every new cycle. Okay, have you prepared? Yes, I am involved in the test plan preparation. As a team, we discuss and prepare this test plan document. It's not like one person is going to prepare it and send it. It's a whole testing team will discuss and together plan the requirements and risks, everything we need to discuss, right? That's why it's a team activity than individual activity, you need to tell. Clear? What is defect tracking? What is defect tracking? Defect tracking.
Once the defect is found, sir, till it's fixed, what are the phases it goes through? That is defect tracking.
Yeah, not fixed. Okay, once it is logged from the inception of the defect to once it is logged from in the tool, from there to until it get closed, whatever changes or whatever phases the defect gets into is considered as defect tracking. You can tell the same thing in another words. The process of logging the defects when issues are observed, getting it fixed by the developers, retesting once it is fixed, closing once it is working as expected, together considered as defect tracking. Clear? Tell the second answer first.
Can you repeat, sir?
The process I have written in our notes, I hope. Okay, note it down. The process of logging the defect when the issues are observed, getting it fixed by the developer, retesting once the defect is fix is provided, retesting once the fix is provided, and closing if the fix is working as expected, and closing the defect if the fix is working as expected, all together considered as defect tracking. Clear? Okay, next important question. What is test deliverable? What are the test deliverables? What are the test deliverables? It's very important. You worked on test planning preparation, right? You did that one assignment. Safdar and Nayana, you sent a document also. There is one section called test deliverables. What is that? Hello? Yeah,
Yes,
tell
sir.
me. Meanwhile, I was testing my friend who is tester here next to me. So luckily he answered it.
The documents which we
Ah.
send along with the
Okay.
which are documents we send along with the applications.
No, not along with the application. It's a very important question. Okay. From the testing team, as part of in the testing period, what are all the artifacts that need to be generated and delivered by the testing team are considered as test deliverables? What are those things? What are those different artifacts? Test plan itself is a test is an artifact first. Test plan, test strategy, test cases, and test execution, environment setup document again, okay, and the test execution results, test summary report, and defect summary report, and QA sign off document, and release notes. These are all the documents you send to customer as part of, by the time once you start and by the time you end the testing, whatever you deliver, whatever you prepare and deliver at the end to the customer, that is considered as test deliverables. Understand? What is difference between test strategy and test plan document? When I was talking about test plan document, there will be a small section under test plan, that is test strategy or test approach. But some companies will prepare a separate document for test strategy and separate document for test plan. I said why and what is the difference? No idea.
Test plan is a very detailed document, sir.
Test strategy is not detailed.
No, not like that. So test strategy means the important
No.
features.
No. Test plan talks about complete activities of our testing period. For that period, what and all you are going to do, everything you will mention. It can be testing activities, it can be test deliverables, it can be testing timelines and roles and responsibilities, what are the risks and what mitigation plan, everything. But test strategy talks only about what are the different types of testings you are going to do, what is your approach in doing the test execution, what are the different types of testings you are going to perform. Okay, that is the difference. And also one more important point is test strategy will be mostly static. The types of testings you are going to perform may not differ every cycle. That's why many companies will prepare it once and keep it aside, and test plan only they prepare every cycle. Test plan, test strategy will be staying static. That's why test strategy is considered as a static document, and test plan will be a dynamic document because it will be changing every new cycle. You need to prepare freshly because scope will be changing. What requirements you will be in scope to test, out of scope to test will change. What are the test what are the timelines will be changing, what are the risks and mitigation plan will be changing for that period. So that's why you need to prepare the test plan every time freshly for the cycle. Understood? All of you clear? Very important interview question again, and it is part of the test plan document only. What is entry and exit criteria? Difference between entry and exit criteria. Okay, tell me any answers? No. Entry and exit criteria is a part of some sections in. There is another thing also, suspension criteria also mentioned in the test plan document. Entry criteria is something, the set of conditions that need to be satisfied in order to start your testing activities. Okay, what are those things? Test environment setup must be done, test data must be prepared, and all the physical hardware and software needs that need to be set up, that need to be done. Okay, so and testing tool must be up and running. These are all entry criteria aspects. If these are not satisfied, you cannot start my testing. That is entry criteria. Exit criteria is to end my testing, what are all the conditions I need to satisfy? Means as a testing team, what are all the conditions we need to satisfy to end our testing for that specific period of time? What are those things? All the test cases must be executed. All must be passed. Our 95% test cases must be passed. That 5% failed test cases should not have any critical or high defects. At that time you can have only maximum 10 medium or low defects, open defects, not more than that. Such kind of criteria, project to project or company to company, this exit criteria will be varying. I'm not talking this is a standard thing, just giving example. Such conditions that you need to satisfy in order to end your testing and close your testing for that specific cycle is considered as exit criteria. What is suspension criteria? You will put certain conditions. Whenever this kind of situations occurs in the project, we will stop our testing for some time being. Okay, understand? So when the application is crashing or some blocker issues coming, then I will suspend our testing for time being. Such kind of things, some conditions will be mentioned under suspension criteria, and which will be resumption criteria also. Just reverse to that one. Resumption criteria means we restart our testing once this suspension criteria is satisfied. Okay, once that suspension criteria conditions are resolved, then you resume your test. Okay, entry exit criteria very important. If you forget about suspension resumption, you fine, but entry exit is very important. What is difference between test monitoring and test control? This is the last topic which we discussed in the theoretical concepts. What is difference between test monitoring and test control? Test monitoring and test control. It's every individual tester's responsibility to monitor your testing activities, whether you are going in right direction or not, you are correcting, you are working according to the test plan or not, will be observing every now and then. That is called, that process of having a check, keep on checking on the testing activities, whether they are going in right direction or not, is called test monitoring. Whenever you observe some deviations from the plan in the testing activities, you need to collectively discuss with the team and take some corrective actions in order to bring back your testing activities to the right way according to the plan. Such corrective actions, taking such corrective actions is called as test control. Clear? So test approach is nothing but test strategy, which we discussed just now. What is test designing? Tell me, this is one of the phases in the software testing life cycle. What is the phases of STLC? Requirement analysis, test planning, test designing, test environment setup, test execution, test reporting, test closure. Correct? So in that test designing means what you are going to do? The process of identifying the test. Yeah, process of identifying the test scenarios based on the analysis on the requirement, writing detailed test cases for the identified scenarios, getting them reviewed and approved by the respective stakeholders is together considered as test designing. In simple words, if you want to tell, writing the test cases, but don't tell that. Okay. What is Scrum? Different events performed in the under Scrum. Agile model related questions.
Scrum is a methodology in the Agile.
Scrum is a methodology, or you can say, instead of using methodology, Scrum is a framework which is used to implement the Agile model. It is one of the framework which is used to implement the Agile model. according to Scrum, we will be having 5 events. That is, sprint itself is one event, which is called as each cycle of implementation in Scrum is called sprint. Sprint is one event and 4 meetings. What are those 4 meetings? Sprint planning, sprint daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective. Okay, what are the, then they may ask, when you tell this one, don't elaborate everything. Then they will ask next question. Okay, what you do in sprint review? Okay, what you discuss in retro? Like that, they may ask further questions. Okay, don't explain without asking. Next, what are the disadvantages of waterfall model?
Requirements cannot be modified at any point of time.
Okay, very good. Going back to the previous phase is not allowed. Okay, and what else? No deployments. Only final product will be given to the customer at the end of the product life cycle. And testing will start only after development, so early testing is not possible in this model. Clear? Then when you say early testing, what is early testing? Start your testing activities as early as possible so that you can identify the defects in the early stage. What is the benefit? If you identify the defects in the early stage, the effort that you need to spend to fix that issues will be minimal. It will not take a lot of time. What is that early time? Once the requirements are finalized by the BA for that specific cycle, you need to start your testing activities. Okay, what is difference between verification and validation? Very important question. Verification and validation.
I think verification is done by the developer side to the coders, and validation is then done by the testers.
Okay, that is according to V model. Okay, but in general, if you ask, verification is something kind of static testing only. Okay, before completing the, before accessing the application and test the application features, whatever testing activities you are doing in order to, like requirement analysis or whatever you are doing, that is considered as verification. Validation is during the development, whatever testing you do, that is verification. Once the development is completed, whatever you testing you do is validation. But in according to V model, verification is done by developers, validation is done by the testers. That way you can tell according to V model. Okay, verification validation model. But in general, verification, you are also doing verification. Requirements when you are verifying and analyzing, that is verification only. Verification testing techniques means, so that's walkthrough, review, inspection, that whatever I told, right? Static testing techniques. Those are also called as verification techniques. Understand? So don't tell verification is directly like that. Verification will be done by developers, validation will be done by testers, not directly. You tell, first explain what is verification. When the requirement is being developed as a tester, whatever your activities you will be doing, those are considered. It can be requirement analysis, test designing, or all the test data preparation. Everything is considered as verification activities involving in the walkthroughs, reviews, inspections. Those are all considered as verification activities. Validation is once the requirement is developed and given to the testing, we access the application and perform the actions and validate the response of the application with the expectation mentioned in the test cases. That is validation. Okay. What is prototype?
Prototype means a dummy application.
Yeah. So dummy application or dummy product which you will be giving to the customer in order to get the first opinion. This is how we are going to. It can be a mock screen or it can be a reference object. Like this is how our application is going to be. Like the dummy product, dummy piece you will be giving. That is prototype we consider as. Who is Scrum Master? What are his responsibilities? This is all what is sprint, that is what is burn down chart, what is retrospective meeting is intended for, what is product backlog. These are all agile related questions. What is product backlog? Tell me. Remaining all are direct questions. You can check. What is product backlog?
Yeah, product backlog is the work items which need to be done,
Which are yet to be, yeah, which are
implemented.
yet to be implemented for the product. The set of
The product.
requirements or items, work items. It can be user stories. It can be task, or it can be a bug also. Okay, product backlog mainly consists of all these items. Whichever work items are yet to be picked for implementation are will be placed in the product backlog, which is maintained by product owner. Okay. What are the differences between SDLC, STLC, software development lifecycle, testing lifecycle? It is talking about SDLC talks about entire all the team members activities. STLC talks about only testers activities. That's it. Difference between statement coverage, decision coverage. Please refer. It is as part of WhiteBox testing techniques, structure-based testing techniques. I told statement coverage or line coverage, decision coverage or branch coverage. We discussed. What is RCA? Root cause analysis, which is helpful to analyze which will be conducted by the team to analyze the issues produced in the specific release cycle, and what are the root causes for most of the defects, which environment, which area is producing a lot of defects, what are the how many defects are leaked to higher environments. All those things will be analyzed. Corrective actions will be taken. What is defect life cycle and what are the different statuses? Defect life cycle is talking about once from the inception of the defect, whatever status changes happens to the defect are considered as defect life cycle. The statuses can be, it is new, approved, committed, fixed, ready to test, closed, or verified, postponed, cancelled, deferred, this kind of statuses. You refer to the defect life cycle, which we discussed a few classes back. Okay, what is defect triage? This one very important. Tell me. What is defect triage meetings? Defect triage meetings are conducted in order to discuss on the defects which are not clear. Okay, which are not clear means it can be to decide whether to get the more information on the defects if at all they are not reproducible, or if there are many defects and you want to get the decide on the priorities from the business. Sometimes in these meetings customers, external stakeholders also will be involved, or it can be BAs also. It is conducted to get the more information about the defects and also to check why it is happening only in the specific environment, and also to get the priorities from the business on those when there are many defects to be addressed. Okay, that's why we conduct defect triage meetings. What is priority, severity, and different combinations? You did the assignment recently. I hope it's clear. Difference between error, defect, failure. Error is human-made mistake in the code will be resulting into error. If that error is identified by the tester during the testing, it is considered as defect. If it is missed by testers and it is identified by, if it is missed in during the testing and it is identified by the end user in the production environment, it may lead to failure. This I have written in the notes also, please go through. What is test design techniques? What are the static testing techniques or verification techniques? Just now I explained, walkthrough, review, inspection. Okay, what is software versioning? Can you tell me? And what are the uses? Why you are we maintaining the version? No idea.
And new features keep on adding as per the requirements of the business people.
Correct. Okay. Then what is the relationship between versioning and that one? So if you maintain unique ID for every release or every version what you are deploying to customer, it is easy to track which features are released in which version, which bug fixes are provided in which version. Everything can be tracked easily if you maintain unique ID number for the builds and versions deployed into different environments. Okay, that's why we need to do the software version. Pre-testing, confirmation testing, both are same. We discussed already. Difference between globalization and localization testing. What is this? This is all about language translations, right? Globalization is also called as internationalization testing, where the application, if customer asks to support different countries related language like Dutch, French, and also Spanish, then application is getting translated with that respective languages or not, you will test in the globalization. These are all insert payout formula we are seeing in English because Indians know English, but some countries don't know English. No, you can say Netherlands, some people don't know English, own language, like how MS Word also support different countries related language. So when they select their own language, it should, all the labels and messages, everything should be shown in that language. Localization means that regional languages of a specific country. Okay. Those are what? It can be, if you consider India, it can be Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, kind of whichever language is having script. So where the business core area is for them, they want to attract the regional people also, then they will go for localization. What are the difference between high level and low level designs? High level design talks about overall application related modules, how they are interconnected. Low level designs are talks about particular processes and then modules, which we discussed as part of SDLC designing phase. Okay, so these are the mostly you will be getting 95% of questions in this area. Remaining 5% will be generic questions about your work experience. What are the best defects, critical defects you have identified in your experience? That's one generic question. You can search in internet and find some, like beautiful bugs. And again, another generic question is like, yeah, not generic question. It is another question is about, they will give some scenario like functionality. If you are testing this functionality, what are the different test cases you will write? What techniques you will use related to test design techniques? Okay, that kind of questions may come on top of it. And other things, how can you define it yourself as a great tester, that I have explained already. So these are all things you may get generic questions in that for other 5%. And you are going interview for any project where they are expecting some database knowledge as well, then they will get some SQL questions as well. Okay, we will start SQLs only. Will be delivering from institute side. They will be arranging you again other automation and other types of testing as part of this full stack application, full stack testing course. You will be learning other things also from different trainers. Okay, but I will be covering the basic SQL commands, which are just to give, which is not part of this course, but just to give the basic idea about database. Okay, we will start tomorrow. It will take 3 days of time to complete those classes. Meanwhile, you complete that Jira video and ask me questions if you have anything on that Jira. Okay. That's it. Thank you very much. We'll connect tomorrow at the same time and we'll start SQL concepts. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, prepare for these questions, okay? Yeah, don't miss it. Bye.